The Tippmann Arms M4-22 in 22 Magnum. Let's check it out. Tippmann Arms makes one of the best AR-22s on the market. We've had a lot of experience with them, shot them. I've done a lot of testing. A lot of times when I'm testing lights and different things at night, I use the Tippmann Arms. It's just been a really quality, solid AR-22. Today we're going to take a look at their 22 Magnum. Now I'm pretty excited about 22 Magnum because we have a lot of 22s, but we've seen a resurgence in 22 Magnum, not only with rifles, but also with handguns. And it's become very popular. It's a great hunting option, gives you more power than your 22 long rifle. And one of the problems has been reliability because the case is just a lot longer than your 22 long rifle. But over the past few years, they've really upped the reliability. And it has all the same features of your AR-15. The manual of arms, everything's the same. It comes in a 15-round magazine, but they also offer a 10-round. And so we're going to check out the Tippmann Arms M4-22 and 22 Magnum. And I want to give a big thank you to Nate over at Guns on Deals for sending the Tippmann Arms M4-22 22 Magnum for this review. Guns on Deals really helps us out to bring some pretty cool firearms for review to you guys, and we really appreciate it. Well guys, there's a blue bazillion AR-15s out on the market. There's so many different companies that are making it, and the quality is all over the place. You know, just a basic rifle, and then you can get up to your Daniel Defense or your BCM rifles and then above. So the market is kind of saturated, but yet there are a lot of different parts and accessories where you can upgrade your AR. Now this is the Tippmann Arms M4-22 WMR. WMR stands for Winchester Magnum Rimfire. This is a 22 Magnum. It is their Elite, and this has features on it that are compatible with a lot of your AR-15s, but yet it comes in that 22 Magnum, and that is definitely a different caliber, and we have been seeing a number of different handguns and rifles coming out with 22 Magnum, which really is a revival. So first thing let's do, we're going to drop our 15-round magazine. It does come with 10-round magazines available for the states that have restrictions, and then we have our charging handle. We're going to check, and the chamber is empty. First, you'll notice that we have a chrome-plated bolt and bolt carrier. So this is going to give you a lot of lubricity, especially with rimfire, because it tends to be a little dirty. So this is going to give you a lot more reliability just with the nickel-plated, and it's going to be easier to clean up. But one of the big pluses is the aluminum lower receiver, again, and upper receiver. It's 6061 T6 aluminum, and a lot of your 22 AR-15 style rifles have polymer frames. So this gives you an upgrade immediately. But also, there are a lot of parts that are compatible from your AR to the Tippmann. And one is just your stock set. Now you get a Tippmann grip, which this is compatible with any of your other AR grips, but it's actually a pretty nice grip, and it has a lot of texturing right here and just a good solid grip, but you can replace that. And then we have a 6-position collapsible stock on the buffer tube, and this just is a basic stock. Now you can change that out for whatever you want to, or you can leave it as it is. It does have your loops here and here. You have your lever right here to be able to adjust. And then we have loops on the end plate, and these are ambidextrous, so you can put on a single point or even a 2-point sling. And you have your basic castle nut. Buffer tube does have a spring in it, which is, some don't. So that gives you that option. We have a forward assist, but it's not really workable. It's just for looks, but it just mimics that AR-15, your standard 5.56 model. We have a shell deflector, and we have a dust cover as well. And I like that it retains all those parts. A lot of times you'll find more of your budget-friendly AR-15s that are lacking some of these parts. So this just gives you a great look to it. All the manual of arms is the same with your standard AR. So you're not taking a 10-22 and trying to AR it. I mean, this comes just like it would in a standard rifle, mil-spec rifle. We have our magazine release right here, it's standard. We have our fire control group on the other side, which is, again, your regular basic semi-automatic fire control. You have a bolt release, bolt stop. Now, the one thing about that is with the magazine inserted, it does have last round bolt hold open, which is great because some 22s do not have that. Of course, the receiver has your standard pick rail, but we have an aluminum M-lock rail. This is 12 inches in length. Of course, it has the pick rail all along the top, so you can mount whatever you want to on there. It does come with flip-up backup sights, and they're actually pretty decent sights. They're fully adjustable, but this goes really well with any kind of optic, and we were using one of the Primary Arms MD25 SLX red dots. Just shooting it with that, and it really showed that it takes an optic very well, just like your AR-15. One of the big benefits for this rifle, though, is that you can shoot this for less money than you will for the 5.56 or 223. And so it gives you not quite as cheap. In fact, really, and we'll look at the prices in a minute, but with 22 long rifle, it is a lot cheaper to shoot. But you're getting a lot more power out of the 22 Magnum. The barrel is 4150 steel. It's not an insert over a polymer barrel. We have 1/2x28 threads with a A2 bird cage, which, you can switch this out for a different type muzzle device or with a suppressor. So again, gives you regular options that you would use on a standard AR-15 rifle. I mean, the one thing about it, guys, is the AR-15, again, has been so saturated, and there's a ton of different parts, so it's really nice to see a different caliber. Guys, for a hunting option, you're going to get 15+1 in a magazine, whereas in most of your bolt guns, you may have 5+1, so it's going to give you a lot more capacity. Even though this isn't your higher capacity magazine for hunting, and this allows you also to get down really low with this more compact magazine. Now, when it comes to the trigger, it is serrated, so it gives you a little bit of texturing, non-slip. And we're going to dry fire this a couple of times just to test the trigger pull. So right here, there's just a touch of take-up and a very crisp break. Reset right there. It has a really nice trigger, but you can put certain trigger packs, aftermarket triggers, in the Tippmann if you want to upgrade. And trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 4 pounds, 1.9 ounces. 3 pounds, 10.5 ounces. Now we have the 5.56, and this is 223. It's your standard AR-15 caliber. Then we have the 9mm, which is used in a lot of pistol caliber carbines. And of course, 22's been around for a while, so we're adding the 22 Magnum to the lineup. And obviously, there's a ton of different calibers that the AR-15 comes in. But between the 22 and the 22 Magnum, 22 Magnum runs about 18 cents a round, same as your 9mm. 22 runs about 4.5 cents per round. Those are just average figures. With your 5.56, it runs 37 cents per round. So a lot more expensive to shoot. And then we get down a lot cheaper, about half, and then we still stay at that point. But you're getting a lot of ballistics with the 5.56 and with the 9mm, great self-defense rounds. Now, when it comes to the 22 versus 22 Magnum, the case diameter is .226 on your 22. It's 0.24 inches diameter on the 22 Magnum. And that way the Magnum will not fit into a 22 cylinder. And that's by design. .22 Magnum gives you a lot greater distance. While the .22 long rifle will go 100, 150 yards, and really on beyond that, but the accuracy starts to suffer. .22 Magnum is flatter shooting. It's twice as fast as your .22 long rifle. At distances of 200 yards out, the .22 Magnum is going to be a lot more accurate. And these are both 40 grain bullets. If you're going to shoot a lot, .22 long rifle makes a great plinking round. Just fun to shoot. If you want to have a little more power, a little more for hunting, the .22 Magnum is going to give you a lot of advantages. And it is traveling at 1,910 feet per second. And that can go up or down according to the manufacturer. And with that, we have the Tippmann Arms M4-22 and .22 long rifle. Now you will notice that it does have a magazine that's made really more like your AR-15, and it holds your full capacity. One of the things about the .22 though is that right here is a button and you push it and this just comes all the way out. And one of the things about that is you have a little button here that you can pull down, and that way you can load these really easy, and then when you're done you can just push the button again and you can close it up. With the .22 Magnum magazine, this does not load the same way, and one of the reasons is .22 Magnum obviously is a little bit longer. While they may be coming out with some extended magazines, 15 rounds just seems to be that sweet spot right now. So with the .22 you're going to get a little bit more round capacity in the Tippmanns. And to be honest, this kind of reminds me of the 20 round magazines that were offered at the beginning of Vietnam for the M16. But overall, everything is pretty close to the same. Even the aluminum handguard, aluminum receivers on the .22. We have one of the Magpul Mostocks, and this is one of the SLKs. And so this will fit just like it will on the Magnum if you want to switch it out. And this has been a great rifle. I mean, I love Tippmann's .22 rifles. To me, again, they're some of the best on the market, but this just gives you more capability and gives you a little more power, flatter trajectory. But if you're looking for a .22 long rifle, this is a great option. I'm going to be shooting some Federal .22 Magnum 40 grain and full metal jacket. And these magazines, fairly easy to load. I know on the regular .22 mags they have a button and they'll open up, but this is fairly easy to load regardless. Guys, Tippmann Arms makes exceptional AR-15s and .22 long rifle. Now they've come out with their .22 Magnum. We have some 10 round magazines, super lightweight, and yet it has all the controls of the AR, and so it's just a very handy rifle. Gives you a little more power, especially if you're hunting, but everything is, again, just standard AR configuration, and the recoil is very mild, very similar to the .22. I mean, it's very difficult to discern which one is which. So soft shooting, yet you get just a little more power. But overall, I mean, it's an AR-15 and .22 Magnum, and Tippmann does an incredible job. We've had a lot of experience with their .22s, all the way down to their little bug out model. And there's a lot of different configurations. But overall, I've been very pleased with Tippmann. I think it's one of the best .22 options for AR-15 on the market. Just a soft shooting option. .22 Magnum is about the same price as your 9mm, so it's still a little cheaper than your 223 overall, but it does have that little bump of power over your .22 long rifle. Okay, we're going to disassemble the firearm. Let's check to make sure the gun is unloaded. Right here is our takedown pin, and we just push it through. Comes open, and we can bring it out. We also have our pivot pin right here, and I'm going to push it through, and I'm going to bring it out as well. Now you can see standard hammer and trigger configuration. It is a little bit more narrow, and that is one thing you're going to need to have a spec on before you change this out. You should be able to drop in a trigger. But pretty much, I mean, just like your standard AR, we have our buffer, and it is designed for the .22 Magnum bolt and bolt carrier. But there is a spring in here as well, so again, it's going to give you that same feel of your AR-15. Here with the upper receiver, just pull out our charging handle, and you can see it's a shortened charging handle, so that's not going to be compatible with others, but for this it works really well. I'll have to say it does have some teeth right here, so your forward assist will work if you need it. But again, nickel plated, and this is just going to add to making this very slick. It's going to add to reliability. Here we have our bolt and our bolt face. We don't really need to break this down any farther because of the way it's built into a one-piece system, but you can exchange your extractor, and there's a pin right here to get out your firing pin. You will notice though that the upper is different, and it has some different parts to it that you don't find on a standard AR-15 and these cross supports. So definitely, especially the upper's different, but even the lower, this is a different setup. You're not going to want to shoot 5.56 or 223 with this lower. You'll notice that the bolt carrier has a slot, and it goes and corresponds with your charging handle. Guys, that's all you need to do to field strip. We're going to put our bolt back in, but we're going to drop our charging handle right in there and then bring it from the back. Just like that. And then again, just bring over your receivers and lock in your pivot pin, and then push the bolt just a little bit to get it past your buffer, and then we're going to close it up. Very simple action. And we're good to go. Now, keeping your firearms maintained and cleaned is vital. Otis makes some of the best cleaning equipment out there. They make a number of different kits that are dedicated for different rifles, pistols. They also have Shooter's Choice, which makes excellent CLP and bore solvent and different cleaning materials. The ripcord is one of their signatures, and there's a whole system based around it. They are suppliers to the U.S. military. And so here we have our tactical kit. It's a very compact little pouch, and you have everything you need to keep your firearm cleaned in the field. But then also they have larger kits with the steel rods and with rip cords, and they make a number, in fact probably the most I've ever seen. And then of course they have tools as well. So check out Otis Technologies, highly recommended, and we want to thank Otis for being a sponsor of the channel. When it comes to price, retail it's $769. At Guns on Deals it's $668. So that's over $100 difference. With the M4-22, it runs in this same configuration is $475. So it's a very reasonable option. So whether you go with the 22 Magnum or the 22, obviously with the 22 Magnum, there's a little bit more to consider, and that's one of the reasons for the price difference. Magazines are $27.95. You get one with the gun, and then of course 10 rounders will be the same price. So what are some pros and cons? First off, you have the 22 Magnum. It's a rimfire caliber, has a lot more velocity and a lot flatter shooting and accurate out to distance, more than your 22 long rifle. One con is that the 22 Magnum is about the same price as 9mm. So if you're going to just go out and plink a lot, I would go with the 22 long rifle. If you want something with a little more punch, if you want something that you can take out to the range, I mean you can take hunting, this is great for a scope. This would make an excellent option, and it's just going to give you more distance. It has the sights already included. That's a big plus. Lower and upper receiver are aluminum, all steel barrel, compatible with a lot of parts from your AR-15 rifle, so that gives you a lot of options because there are so many out there. I find that the 22 long rifle is extremely accurate with the 22 Magnum. We did have a couple of bumps right up front mainly, but once we got to shooting it, it was great. It was very reliable overall. Nickel-plated bolt is also a big plus because it's just going to help aid in reliability and in cleanup. And guys, there's a lot of fans out there of 22 Magnum for good reason, and this just makes it another option in a caliber that has not been seen before with your AR-15 rifle. So it gives you that extra punch, and yet for hunting within 200, 250 yards, this gives you a great option in rimfire. And it doesn't give you that over penetration that you're going to get with 5.56. Now the price on the Magnum version is considerably higher than your 22 long rifle. So if you're looking for something just to plink, again, 22 long rifle is excellent. If you want to take it a step above, the 22 Magnum is going to give you just better ballistics. Guys, there's a lot of options for the AR-15 and 22 long rifle, but when it bumps up to the 22 Magnum, giving you that extra power and just still having that same manual of arms of your standard AR-15. This makes a great option. And Tippmann Arms is making solid rifles. Very reliable. Just the quality of their guns are just top notch. And again, we really appreciate Guns on Deals for sending the Tippmann Arms M4-22 and 22 Magnum for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. The 20-round magazines that were offered at the beginning of World War II, and pull it out. And then that's your pivot pin. There, and it just gives you that bounce back of the blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah. Lower weight on the. And I want to give a big thank you to Nate over at Guns on Deals. And and I always have to give Nate a big thumbs up. Oh, don't say that. Don't say thumbs up, Nate.